Well, if it didn't feel like football season for me, I don't really care about you, to be dead honest. Let me be point blank. Let me be blunt with you. If it didn't feel like football season for me, it does now. Why, you ask? Well, because Bill Gunner is sitting here at Williams-Brice Stadium in the zone. I'm in the zone where the not in the trust me, nobody's in the zone at 6:03 a.m. Patrick Perret. Nobody is physically or mentally in the zone, but I am
Some people
physically.
are.
I am. I don't think anybody at 6:03. You're never like in the zone. You're like maybe trying to get in the zone. Maybe you're trying to mentally wake up. But
It's a
even if
hot
you've been
start.
working
I
on, if
don't
you've been
care about you, and no one's in the zone.
yeah, there's an opener for later. Like it's all about me. I think we've established that on this program. But yeah, I am at Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm at Willie B. They're not blaring the lights yet just for me, but I now feel ready for football season. I'm ready to go. We are here. I'm ready to see the team come out. 2001 blaring, white towels waving, sandstorm a playing, kickoff going. We will be broadcasting from here all day long. Should be a lot of fun here as I get us going. Keith Klein brings us home. Patrick, we are coming to you from inside Williams-Brice Stadium. And I'll tell you what, no better time than today to get tickets and catch a game this fall. You can take advantage of the back to school promotion. Tickets to the home opener are $18.01. Again, that is $18.01. You can visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. Should be a lot of fun today. Throughout the program, we'll have a lot of different coaches join us, pop in, and Tony Annan had to move himself to tomorrow morning as he has practice, Patrick. Practice took precedent over us this morning, but we've got a lot to get to. Another episode of Welcome Home last night, potentially a big commitment today for South Carolina. Preseason football tonight. You've got to do a better job of selling us on the Bears and the Seahawks, other than, hey, they have offensive linemen you might want to watch. So a lot to get to this morning. How you feeling?
It's already been football season for me. Once I wrote down all my win totals and everything like that, I knew that it was football season. That is when it officially starts for me.
That
I got
is
all my win
8:03.
totals. I put my preseason bets in.
Oh, okay. The preseason bets are so 8:03. Let's go. That there's a great way to start. 8:03-404-6100. 8:03-404-6100. How you can text in or call in this morning. You can join us on our live stream. You can go and see me with the 107.5 The Game sign, and then it's still dark outside, but you'll be able to see a little bit of the view that we will have throughout the day here at Williams-Brice Stadium in the Founders Zone up here, which is actually where I sit for football games. So I'm looking around and go check out, see what's in my locker, if they've left anything in my locker here in just a little while. But Patrick, what is it you? So is that the official thing that you decide it is football season? Because that's what I'm going to start by asking this morning. What is the thing? What is it? Is it the blaring of the ESPN Game Day song that comes on, Big and Rich, which now I forgot, Coming to Your City? Is that what lets you know that it's football season? Is there like a shopping day where you go out and purchase all the new tailgating equipment and your apparel? What is your official? All right, it is football season moment or thing. Yeah, yours is placing the official bets. Is that what it
Well,
is?
I honestly think it might be Hard Knocks.
Okay, all right, that's a different one. Okay, you're gonna go Hard Knocks and the Lions.
Because that's real. That's like the first time you can watch real football being played. I mean, you can nowadays we can see it on social media, and teams are kind of doing their own documentary style training camp videos. I think the Chargers are doing one that looks exactly like Hard Knocks, but maybe when you see the videos of players out on the field for the first time, but Hard Knocks, the inside look, training camp is full go. You're seeing real hitting and all that stuff. They get the turnaround is really quick, so you're seeing stuff that's only a couple days old. Like, yeah, I think Hard Knocks for me is the official start of football season.
8:03-404-6100. Greg, Richard, Jess, all weighing in on our text line. We'll get to those, but if you've got a official start, like your official start, I got to admit, mine is kind of if I had to use one, it would be that Hall of Fame preseason game. I don't watch 4 quarters of it. I don't watch 60 minutes. I might even only watch one quarter. I do actually go out of my way to kind of catch a quarter because it's official American football that is taking place, not the Canadian League or anything else.
Well, we
Whatever.
did have Spring League.
Yeah, that's the
USFL
funny.
was American football.
That is the funny thing, isn't it? Like we beg, oh, give us more football, give us more football, and then they give us more football, the spring league, and we kind of complain like, oh, this stinks. The Stallions versus the what was it, the New Jersey Generals? I'm not watching that. Who in the world ever watched that? So
I don't know if anyone was.
yeah, it's so it is funny when we say we want more football, and then they give us more football. We're like, yeah, this is not a good product. We prefer less football. But yeah, the probably the preseason game is where I deem it to be football season. 803-404-6100. What do you deem to be football season? Patrick, one way to do it, you said Hard Knocks. Well, last night we had episode 2 of the Welcome Home series for South Carolina on ESPNU. Did you get a chance to watch it? If so, what'd you take away from it?
Well, I think we were all thinking the same thing. It just abruptly ended at 6:27 in the middle of a scene.
yeah, it was. I gotta admit, I was not sure what happened, but okay. Outside of that,
I just popped on Little League Baseball. Was that game even live? It wasn't, right?
I was like at a gathering, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know, should we say the blessing for dinner now? Like that happened, and we weren't sure. It took us a few minutes. I have no clue what was going on with the Little League game, if that was live or not.
I thought that I mean I was wrong last week. I thought ESPNU did the same thing when it turned on volleyball, but no, it literally just ended in the middle of a scene. We didn't get to see credits roll or anything. That was brutal. And it should be on demand. I think a bunch of people also missed the first one or missed part of it. And we're like, I saw it on Twitter all over the place. Why can't we watch this on demand? Why does ESPNU not immediately put that stuff on demand on the ESPN app? Why do we pay for ESPN Plus if we can't just rewatch a 30-minute episode of a documentary?
All right, Patrick railing against ESPN this morning to start the program regarding how they are handling the Welcome Home episodes and not putting it on the streaming. So as far as about the 27-minute program that we saw last night, or I should say a lot, but a focus on Marcus Satterfield and kind of his coaching and what was going on. What was your takeaway?
I mean, it was interesting. I like the more so than the practice stuff that we've seen a decent bit of. I like the in the home stuff. So I liked seeing Jovan Gwynn go back to Charlotte High School, talk to his coach. I like seeing Eric Douglas go back to his house and them talk about his dad thought that he was about to die, goes into an ambulance and tells him not to get beat inside. It's like, okay. But it was interesting. I don't remember anything like super interesting. I don't know if when I was watching Shane Beamer coach and getting mad at the first day, saying our body language sucks and this and that, I was wondering if he actually believed that or if it's just like the first day of practice, every football coach in America has to tell their team they're not doing good enough.
Did you take away from that? All we've seen, I was trying to think as I saw that, as Shane Beamer is saying that, I was trying to think of anything that we have seen that is, I want to use the word negative, but I don't know if negative is the right word, but is
critical.
Yeah, there you go. Better word. Thank you. I was thinking of this last night, and critical probably should have been the word that came to me. Have we seen anything that's been what I would say necessarily critical of the football program, his team, or anything from Shane Beamer? Because I was trying to think last night as that was said. That might be the most critical, negative, down in the dumps thing I've heard Shane Beamer say about anything so far in his basically, what is it now, 18, 19, 20 months on campus?
I'm trying to think back to some of the press conferences because even the Georgia game, he didn't even criticize South Carolina. We got our butts kicked, and he went on that rant about how Georgia's got 1 million 5-stars all over the place. Right. They're 400 pounds. They can run 4 threes, and besides that, they're really dang good at football too. I don't think so. I think he only is complimentary. But the first day of practice, there's no coach. I don't think there's a football coach in America that tells their team they did a great job on the first day of practice. It doesn't happen, except Tony Annan.
Yeah. So if you have any thoughts on last night's welcome home, 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning. Again, I am live from the Founders Zone here at Williams-Brice Stadium, where there's no better time than today to get your tickets and catch a game this fall. You can take advantage of the back-to-school promotion right now. Tickets to the South Carolina home opener against Georgia State are only $18.01. 1801. Get that, it's the founding of the school. That's why it's 1801, in case you're wondering this morning. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. Come on and get involved. They've got the new LED lights. I'm going to stand up now, so if you're watching on the live stream, still dark out there, Patrick, but I tell you what, field looks good. Grass looks good. Looks like we're ready for some football here. Hopefully you're ready for a radio program and a whole bunch of talking today, as we will be hanging out here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Neil weighing in this morning and says Labor Day weekend. That is when football starts for him. He says has to be September. Okay, well, I didn't know if there's something that gets you in the mood a little early, something to get you going, something to get you riled up. Being here this morning, I think, is kind of the final push over the top for me, Patrick, that says, all right, it's officially football season. Bears Seahawks might bring me back to earth a little bit tonight.
That's not going to do it for me, but it doesn't have to be Labor Day because we have good Week 0 games. Not this year, but we have had good Week 0 games.
I was going to say,
like
Vanderbilt.
No, Florida-Miami is what I'm thinking of. Like, you can't have watched that game and not thought football season's here.
Okay, yeah, Florida-Miami was a good Week 0 game. What was it, 3 years ago? Is that right?
I think it was 4 years ago because my brother was moving into college. I watched that game in a hotel room in New York.
All right, there's that for you. So, a lot to get to today. We will cover a lot of different topics. Again, South Carolina may be on the verge of a big commitment this afternoon. Xavier McLeod set to make his college decision today. Camden High School defensive lineman, the number 3 prospect in the state of South Carolina, set to make his announcement. A lot of people thinking it's down to South Carolina and Georgia. We've got some coaches that will be stopping by throughout the morning. A couple schedule changes. Kerry Tharp will likely join us tomorrow. He is attending a little charity event today, so will be on with us tomorrow. Tony Annan, who was originally scheduled to join us today, I don't know. Apparently, he's got to practice his team. He doesn't have time for us today, so he'll be joining us tomorrow as well. But we've got Jeff Popple, the swim coach, Bev Smith, the softball coach. They'll swing on in and try and hang out with us, see if they can deal with this high level of energy that I'm already bringing to you at 6:15 a.m. this morning. And again, want to remind you, it's time. Football season is here. No better time than today. Get your tickets and catch a game this fall. Today is the day. You can take advantage of the back-to-school promotion. Tickets to the South Carolina home opener, $18.01. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details, and you can get yourself a ticket. We'll talk a little bit about this football team. We'll get into some heavy-duty discussion of the South Carolina football team, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, what you think about the offense. The defense, just as important, Patrick. We'll talk about those defensive linemen. Jordan Birch talking to the media yesterday, so we'll get some of that as well. You're listening to Patrick Perrette and Bill Gunner. It's the early game, live from Williams-Brice Stadium on 107.5 The Game.
So I guess talk about a couple of guys today. Some South Carolina players post practice yesterday, and of course a full reaction to the newest episode of Welcome Home. That and a whole lot more. Wes, Chris, Preston, live from Williams-Brice.
The Extra Point with Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central. 9 a.m. to noon on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
This is JR from the JR Sport Brief with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler Jeans. Visit Wrangler.com for the best in denim. Wrangler for the ride of life. LeBron is getting paid with a 2-year extension worth $97 million with the Lakers. He might win another championship, but the biggest opportunity to potentially play with his son. The NBA has never seen a father-son duo, and that might be LeBron's greatest achievement. I'm JR.
At Wrangler, we know that life is all about taking the reins, no matter what's in front of you or which way the road turns, because life is one big glorious ride, and Wrangler jeans are made to handle.
Let me know what
I'll yeah, and I stopped myself up on the car ride down, which is really fun right now. Yeah, that's the weather. All right, I got to give these tickets away, so we got to give. Hold on, I got to send a text to my ex-wife. Excuse me. All right. All right. Yeah, we got to give these one pair of tickets per hour. Do you want to go ahead and do that right now? Or when we come back? Yeah, you want to you want to go ahead and do that right when we come back. I'll take caller like number 4. I don't think you can take the first caller. I'll just take. What'd you say? Would you say you got to get 5 away today? Oh yeah, no. Take whatever caller you want. I might say caller. I might say caller like number 21 for Juju McDowell. Yeah, take whatever you want. All right, we'll give the tickets away. Maybe in the next break, if you're ready to go. If you're ready in the next break, I can cut that sleep number. That should be fine. Okay. All right. Let's make your job easier. Uh, all right. Well, we'll give the tickets away here, and we'll cut the whatchamacallit, sleep. Thank you. Yep. We'll cut that in the next break. All right. All right. Step away for a second. I like that. All right. All right. I have not slept good this weekend. Oh gosh. I'm ready. Huh? Your father moving? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 6:22 on your Thursday morning, kids. If you're up this early and your parents are dragging you to school, well, happy number day 3, I think, for most of you. At least for my kids. Go have a good time. Tell your parents to get you a donut. Get up, get to school this morning. Football season just around the corner, and we are here. We are here all day long at the Founders Zone here at Williams-Brice Stadium, promoting Gamecock football, Gamecock Village. Gamecock Village, of course, located directly across the street on Bluff Road. Gamecock Village has live music, beverages, large TV screens, and the Gamecock Walk. Be sure to hit Gamecock Village on your Gamecock game days. Patrick, Kyle weighing in this morning. He says what gets him fired up about football season, or what gets him going. Kyle must not live here in Columbia. He says cooler, crisp mornings. Usually takes a little while to get to those cool, crisp mornings here in Columbia. Although the weather's been a little bit better, a little bit of an improvement. And Patrick, getting out and getting ready for football season. The first 3 games are early games. How much stock do you put in? I was on an Arkansas radio station yesterday. This is why I bring up the question to you. How much stock do you put into South Carolina playing what's going to be an early game, a noon Eastern time kick, but an 11 a.m. Central game in Arkansas? How much stock do you put in that being in favor of South Carolina? Because, right. Yes. Wait, what now? Which game did you just give me?
Well, what was it? Was it 2018 Georgia was the noon game, right? First drive, scoop and score. DeAndre Baker, I think it was.
No, that was a 3:30.
Was it 3:30?
Yeah, CBS 3:30. Oh, great! Now you got me questioning.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm pretty certain that was a CBS 3:30 game. It wasn't. It was a day game. I'm with you on that.
It was a day game, yeah. Maybe I can only think in terms of day and night, but no, I mean we've seen loud environments at noon. If anything, maybe they can jump on them early, but by the beginning, maybe it takes people a little longer to filter into the stadium, and South Carolina can get an early jump. But regardless, I don't think that helps. I mean, I guess I'd rather, if you're saying what would you rather do, play at 11 or play at 7? I'd rather play at 11.
Let me give you this. You've experienced this. Do you remember your trip to Oxford?
Yeah.
For the Mississippi game.
Well, people weren't there in the fourth quarter either, though.
Okay. Yeah, they were. Oxford, no, they just found a punter at a frat house. Oxford, a well-known party town. But the bottom line is like you remember the atmosphere going into the game at 11 a.m. I've been at a game in Nashville for an 11 a.m. kick, and again, very similar in that Vanderbilt fans weren't even aware they had a game that week. But the bottom line is, like I ask 803-404-6100. You've got obviously the night game against Georgia State here at Williams-Brice Stadium. We'll see the new LED lights. They have done some painting down there. As I look underneath the big scoreboard, the beast board, it tells me the cockpit, which is now going to be the kind of phrase that they use for the student section. So they've done some painting. They've set some things up here. I see like some more signage that is down there over top of the Eddie Floyd building in terms of the student section. So you're going to display a few new wrinkles here to Williams-Brice Stadium. So the night game against Georgia State will certainly be exciting. And again, I mentioned the ribbon board, the new lights and everything. It's going to be just fantastic. But to go to your 2 big games, the Arkansas game and the Georgia game, they're going to be early games. They're going to be the Arkansas game. I think it is a benefit to get Arkansas a little bit early in the morning. And again, you were in Oxford, so it's a little bit better representative than, say, Vanderbilt of what that atmosphere was like at 11 a.m.
Well, the thing with Vanderbilt is you actually see the environment just from the opposing fan perspective. Like the last time I went to a Vanderbilt game was 2019 LSU, the national championship season, and it was pretty full at the beginning of the game, but it was all purple and gold. So, I mean, we do see that. It's preferable, obviously, but I don't think if I thought that Arkansas was going to win the game either way, or I thought South Carolina was going to beat them either way, I don't think that's the game time is something that would change my vote. I mean, I think where the game is being played probably would. Like, I don't love South Carolina's chances. I would probably pick Arkansas to win that game just because I'm a little bit fearful of that environment, and I think Arkansas is a really good team.
Arkansas is going to be a very good team. I think it's going to be very interesting. Again, I used this 803-404-6100. I used this because yesterday I was on a station in Arkansas talking about this game, and there's a lot of confidence about the Razorback football program. There is also, I will say this, the station I was on, the guys that I was on, Drew Barrett and the guys there in Arkansas, they are complimentary of South Carolina. They are the anti-Mark Stoops in Kentucky. But that's because I think they saw the lowest of the lows with Chad Morris and the long losing streak that Arkansas had going on. And now what Sam Pittman has been able to do, not just winning football games, but renewing energy, bringing back energy to the football program. A conversation I had just on the way up here as it pertains to South Carolina and how the energy level is entirely different, Patrick, than it has been really the last several years. This is probably as excited as I've seen the fan base since 2014. And for those of you who unfortunately want to remember, 2014, South Carolina was a top 10 team. Texas A&M was coming in here. There was predictions of winning the East. Dylan Thompson was quarterback, so forth and so on. We don't need to rehash everything that happened that year. But to me, this is the most excitement and the most energy I've seen from the fan base since that 2014 season.
I think so. I mean, it's the best it's been since I've been here, which was 2015, the 3-9 year. I don't think there was any Will Muschamp year that compares to it. And I think it is. I don't think it would be this way without Spencer Rattler. I think people would be excited about the direction of the program, kind of no matter what. If Luke Doty was starting this game, they'd be excited sort of about the direction. But in terms of just pumped up for thinking that, hey, we can go from a team that was supposed to win 3 games last year, overachieved with 4 quarterbacks. Now we can win 9 games. I mean, because that's what a lot of people are saying now, that the high end is 9 games. In terms of the on-the-field product right away, I think this is the most excited they've been.
803-404-6100. JB says, we always struggle with Arkansas, even when they were bad. JB might have some flawed memory there. South Carolina, the last 2 times they've played Arkansas, and Arkansas was bad teams back then, South Carolina beat the daylights out of Arkansas. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm trying to go back and get the year. I know Connor Shaw was the quarterback. I want to say it was 2012. I'll get you the year, JB, but I believe South Carolina went to Fayetteville and beat Arkansas something in the vicinity of 52-7 or 58-7. I'm not sure if you remember that game. It was a game, it was homecoming for the Razorbacks, and Steve Spurrier had the quote from that game where he said, yeah, it sucks to get your butt beat on your homecoming. South Carolina had actually in 2012 also beat Arkansas 38-20 in 2013. Again, 2013 is the year I'm looking for. South Carolina went out to Fayetteville and won 52-7. And Patrick, even under the famed Will Muschamp, South Carolina beat Arkansas in 2017, 48-22, one of the larger margins of victory for the Gamecocks. So as incredible as it is to say, South Carolina has won the last 3 against the Razorbacks by 2 touchdowns or more. So JB, yeah, the Gamecocks lately, those were bad Arkansas teams. The Gamecocks lately have thumped the Razorbacks when they have played. Ed weighs in. He says, isn't the defensive lineman from Camden making an announcement, holding a commitment ceremony today? Yes, we will talk about that next. Xavier McLeod set to make an announcement here. We'll also, coming up in the next segment, give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to the home opener. You'll have to call in. You'll have to speak with Mr. Ed Bird. But coming up in the next segment, we'll give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to the South Carolina season opener against Georgia State. You want to keep listening. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Brett. We are live from Williams-Brice Stadium here today, celebrating the start of college football season. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Okay. All right. I tell you what, I'll do it. I'll do it as a promo today to help. So what I'll do is when we come back, I'll give the tickets away. I'll do the read and then just go into the next segment. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Are you ready? Okay. Man, there's the script. All right, let me do one thing here. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Getting up every morning, doing a sports talk radio show. I need a great night of sleep. I've got to be rested, refreshed. I've got to be ready to go each and every morning to deal with Jen, Patrick, with anything that life throws at me. I better be ready. And with a Sleep Number bed, that's exactly what I am. Bill Gunner for Sleep Number. Put that Sleep Number setting on 45, and I'll wake up rested, refreshed, and ready to go each and every morning. You can do the same right now. Don't miss Sleep Number's weekend special, where all smart beds are on sale. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus free delivery when you add a base. 2 stores to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Nights Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. This deal ends Monday, August 22nd, and it's at one of those Sleep Number stores, or you can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. People ask, why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? And I tell them, because every great day starts the night before. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like. There you go. That's out of the way. All right, we'll give tickets. I'll read the AAA spot, and we'll talk, and then we'll take another break. Oh, boy. Do you have that sound, the Jordan Burch interview? Let me know. Let me know if you have it. I'm not calling. I don't need it right now. It's Jordan Burch. You just have the long form interview, like 5 minutes. No, I don't need it. I don't need it yet. 6:36 on your Thursday morning. Don't know how you're doing. I'm doing really well. Bill Gunner. I am live from Williams-Brice Stadium here as we get you ready for the fall football season 2022. You didn't hear that. I banged my papers on the table. I was expecting a little bit louder sound. Let's try that again. Yep, louder. Right now, we're giving you a chance to win a pair of tickets to the season opener. 803-404-6100. Ed Bird in the studio. Jen Jensen will be back. She actually just texted me. 36 Jen sent me a text message. So she is up and awake, but she's not in town. But right now, we'll take caller number 3. You get a field goal, Mr. Bird. Mr. Bird, take a field goal. Caller number 3 wins a pair of tickets to the home opener against Georgia State. Call right now, 803-404-6100, and Mr. Ed Bird will get your information, and we will get us a winner, and you will get a pair of tickets to the home opener against Georgia State. Again, we are at Williams-Brice Stadium. No better time than today to get your tickets and catch a game this fall. Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion where tickets to the home opener, if you didn't just win them, are $18.01. Again, you can visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. Also want to tell you about staying cool because let's be honest, if you've been around Columbia during the months of August and September, you know that the days are going to be hot. AAA Heating and Air has got you taken care of, and there's no better time right now than to contact AAA Heating and Air. So don't hesitate. 803-677-1500. That's how you can get in touch with Roy and Dana Finley. Right now, they're ready to hook you up. Make sure you're taken care of. I know in the past you might have had some issues with your credit, but AAA Heating and Air guarantees financing. They are ready to help you out. So don't wait any longer. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Coming up in 2023, there's going to be some changes due to upcoming government regulations. The current minimum SEER rating for HVAC systems is going to change. That means current inventory cannot be sold after December 31st. So as the year 2023 starts, customers will be paying more than an average of 30% for a new SEER 2 HVAC system. You can get what's on stock right now at AAA Heating and Air. Call them today. No deals will be turned down. They offer a 15-year parts and labor warranty, guaranteed financing. They are helping you get cool today. Call 803-677-1500. Enjoy new comfort in your home as quickly as tomorrow. Again, tell them Bill Gunner sent you as well. Patrick, Xavier McLeod makes an announcement today. About 6:30-ish tonight from Camden High School's football stadium. I don't have the stadium's name right in front of me, but he will make an announcement. And in terms of keeping in-state talent home, this is a big one. You've already landed Marquis Anderson. You've landed Montique Rames, I believe is how you say his name. I think I heard Wes Mitchell or J.C. Sherbert say it differently, but you've landed a defensive end in Montique Rames. Xavier McLeod is a top 150 prospect. You are battling the defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs for him. This is another one you have to land today, as you pointed out, to continue to build along the lines of scrimmage.
2 top 100 players in the state. You got to get them. Well, I guess there's 3, but you're not going to get the top one. He doesn't want to be here. But 2 of the top 3 players in the state, top 150 players, both on the lines of scrimmage, which is where South Carolina clearly needs to get better. If that was what I was thinking the whole episode yesterday, was all the focus on the offensive line. I was like, man, are we underestimating the offensive line? But I can't get out of my head how underwhelming they were last year. And the defensive line, kind of same thing. There were still some games where teams were able to sort of run all over South Carolina. That's where they need to get better. Plenty of options, and we've talked about the easiest place to reload in the transfer portal is out wide. You can get starting defensive backs. Well, South Carolina will likely start Damani Reed this year, and they'll start Juice Wells. They'll start Austin Stogner. That's 3 transfers that sort of play on the outside. The defensive line and offensive line is not where you're going to be able to do that. That is where you need to build in recruiting. You need to build through high school level, and you need to build through the state of South Carolina too, if possible. And this is one of those years where there's 2 really good prospects, one on each side of the ball, and they're both in your backyard, basically. Dorman, not so much, but Camden, quick drive. I don't know if he grew up a Gamecock fan. I've never heard him say that, but you got to land that kid.
Yeah, I mean, again, you talk about building a program, and look, I think that, and Clemson is an example. I think you use Clemson as the example of how you go about building a program. And they landed a lot of great skill players. C.J. Spiller, Sammy Watkins, obviously Deshaun Watson was great, but Clemson really took the next step when they built along the defensive line, and to that end, South Carolina became really good in the early, in 2009, 2010, 2011, you get the point, when the defensive line took the next steps. And Xavier McLeod is part of that group that you've got to go out and land. South Carolina right now owns some of the crystal balls, Patrick, from the 24/7 Sports Network to land an Xavier McLeod. But you've got to build along the defensive line, and that's a big part of going out and building a football program is landing not just good prospects, but great prospects. Great prospects. Clemson just landed Peter Woods out of Alabama, another defensive line prospect. They've done really well landing defensive line prospects. Vic Burley's another one. South Carolina, Shane Beamer, Jimmy Lindsey, they've got to continue to do the same, and this is a big one for them today. Where would you put this in terms of I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend that I've studied film on Xavier McLeod and that I can tell you, oh, he moves fast and he gets to the quarterback or he's a run stopper. I can tell you, though, that the people that do pay attention think very highly of him.
Well, he's massive. That would be a good start. And he would be almost exactly the same level as Marky Anderson, right? He would be the top recruit in the class now, I do believe, right? I'm saying he's number 4 in the state of South Carolina. He'd be the next best. Yeah. But their star rating are very similar.
Yeah, he would be big. So we'll talk more about that as the morning rolls along. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Perrette. We're coming to you live from inside Williams-Brice Stadium. No better time than today to get your tickets and catch a game this fall. Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion. Tickets to the home opener, $18.01. That's $18.01. You can visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. A lot happening here. We might have Tony in here. He might call in. Apparently, I thought we moved him.
Like right here to end the hour?
Yeah, I can't remember if we agreed to 2 segments. I can't remember.
We're only going to have about 7 or 8 minutes here.
Okay, yeah, he's got it.
Nice. What is echoing in my head? Is it your laptop?
What do you?
Every time I talk, it's I hear myself when I talk in a headset.
When you talk in your headset?
Yeah. If no one else is hearing it, it's fine.
Hey, Ed, Tony Annan is calling in now. We're going to have Tony Annan on right now, okay? Perfect. All right, Patrick, we got Tony. All right, he's calling in. Ed, just tell me in my headset when Tony's coming on. All right. (803-404-6100). We're actually going to be joined by men's soccer coach Tony Annan, excuse me, in just a second, as he will be joining us. He was supposed to join us here on site, but they are going to be training this morning, and the soccer team needs their head coach. apparently. So since apparently Coach Annan is not talented enough to coach his team while sitting here with me, he now joins us via the phone line. Coach, it's year two. These are the kind of things you come to South Carolina. You could sit here with me. You could direct the program. You can FaceTime them, right? You've got a brand new scoreboard there. Can't we put your face up on the scoreboard and you can do the radio show while telling players what drills they need to do? Well, okay. It tells me where I stand on the line of things, working with team, hanging out with me. I get it, totally get it. But you did have a very good exhibition, or one that I would say you were relatively pleased with last Saturday night. A 1-1 draw with Duke over at Stone Stadium. It was a game that featured, I guess, 16 new players. You had two guys, Ben Alexander, and you had a defensive lineman out whose name I'm blanking on. But all in all,
Defensive lineman.
I'm sorry, defensive a defensive player,
He does technically play on the defensive line. Hopefully they hold a straight line.
You got a lot of information in front of me. Give your coach's assessment of what you saw from your squad last Saturday night against Duke.
With a scrimmage like that, is that something like you would do with a game week where you're breaking down film? Did you have that sort of recorded and spend the next couple of days breaking down film from that? Or is it just kind of a, hey, get comfortable with the speed of the game, get comfortable playing with each other, and then we'll just move on and look forward to next weekend against Gardner-Webb?
You've been a head coach before. You were a head coach of one of the Atlanta United programs. So being a head coach is not new to you in terms of doing it. But in terms of this team, because last year you were still getting your feet wet. You were trying to handle a program that had been run by one man for 40 years, and you stepping in. How different is it for you now in year two, feeling more comfortable, understanding the collegiate level? And I don't know how different it is going from the Atlanta United to the collegiate level. How much easier is it for you this year stepping in now after one exhibition? Good.
Coach, we talked about how this season is such a rush. You play multiple games a week. It's not like what you were used to where it's year round and you play one game a week. So I assume that's going to affect how you manage your roster or your lineups. How deep do you think this team can go? How many guys do you feel comfortable putting out there on the field for a normal game, given what you've seen last week? And will you sort of roll with a starting lineup every week and then adjust from there? Or do you think there's going to be games where you play 3 days apart or 4 days apart? You got to roll different lineups just to give guys some breathers. It's only 3 subs in professional, but how like some of the best teams in college soccer, how many are playing in the course of one game? Is it like 15 in one game?
We are here at Williams-Brice Stadium today, but you can head over to Stone Stadium on Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Gardner Webb will be in town. It'll be the second exhibition game, and you can purchase season tickets for both the men's and the women's games this year. $25. It is the best season ticket in town. Youth 17 and under, you can get $10 for a season ticket. And this year, if you upgrade for $10, you get the soccer scarf that comes along with that. So season tickets are available tonight. Actually, the women take on Florida State over at Stone Stadium. Coach, we're going to keep you another segment here, and then I know you got to train, and there's a lot of things I want to get to you, including how to do a proper handshake after a soccer match, because as we learned last week between Chelsea and Tottenham, there are ways you do not do a handshake that can create a little bit of tension. But real quick, your dress, your apparel. I know I'm 40. I've been around South Carolina athletics for a long time. Joe Morrison was the man in black. The black on black look. I saw the pictures. Is that the Tony Annan look for all soccer games? The slimming black on black look.
Yeah, it's slimming. It's the slimming color.
Yeah, well, Coach is a slim guy. He's out there. He's athletic. He's running around. I saw that in the pictures from last week with the new kits. Now, did you personally? Did you design the new kits, or how does that work? Hey, look. Black is coach. So for those, Joe Morrison, the football coach, big fan of. He was around when I was growing up, when I was in my single digits there, and had a big impact on me. We're gonna keep you around. We got to get into some Premier League, man. Chelsea and Tottenham, that was interesting. Nottingham Forest gets their first win in 23 years. We need a little Premier League breakdown. We'll get into that with you next Also, look ahead to that Gardner-Webb showdown on Saturday night. It's Bill Gunner. I'm live from Williams-Brice Stadium. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. All right. I'm guessing that this door is going to be locked.
We can't. We know what the problem is. We can't fix it without Jen. We need someone in the studio. Just pop on the app for a couple minutes. You can come join us again in about 7:15. Waddy, I did see that. I appreciate that. Tuesday I was so concerned with trying to figure out things to talk about. I was not even paying attention. I was worried about filling those 3 hours.
Will anybody work in signatures from?
All right. Be right back.
Unless Boo Major can get us a horse, like get us an actual horse that we can get signed and give a. Anthony, sorry, it's not going to be a day. There will be no. Sorry about that. Well, welcome back in 7:02 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett, and currently joined by head men's soccer coach Tony Annan as he gets ready for an early morning training, 7:15 with the boys. So hopefully he'll be taking the phone out onto the pitch to not only coach up the boys, but talk with us this morning here for one more segment. And Patrick, you and I kind of discussed it a little bit on Monday. Handshaking in sports can be a little difficult, Coach, especially after a heated Chelsea-Tottenham match that ends up in a wild 2-2. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, I've watched soccer for 35 years, and that was one of the best matches. No, that was probably the first time I've watched from minute one I think they went to minute 96, I believe, is somewhere in there. But that was probably as intense, like dislike. And I learned a lot about the London Derby, the rivals, everything that was involved. But you're an aficionado. You're a guy that's been there. You're from that area. You understand it. Watching the intensity of that game on Sunday, and I know you had some things going on. You had some recruits in town, but I'm sure you were able to go back and watch it. What was that like for you to see that match?
Who initiated that? I still could not tell. I watched it a bunch of times, and you can't really tell who the instigator was.
All right, all right. Explain to us. Explain to us. They both got red cards, and you and I were talking on the phone Sunday night. They both got red cards, and they both got sent off. What does that mean for the next match this coming weekend? When you,
Coach, do you get into other like Nate countries premier like do you watch La Liga or the Bundesliga, or are you mostly just a Premier League guy? Or do most English soccer fans watch other European leagues?
I'm not being funny when I ask this question, but it's entertaining because I don't think Americans understand, and I don't. I don't. But I got fully invested. Sunday was fun. I watched a ton of football. You look at what you're doing to us. You've already got. I'm saying it properly. I watched a ton of football on Sunday morning. Um, I don't think we understand or can grasp, and so I'm going to ask you to try and explain it, what the Premier League means to fans in England. Because watching the scene at Nottingham Forest, who had not been in the Premier League in 23 years, and they're playing West Ham, and just the pride and the passion of being back in the Premier League. Can you put that in context for sport in America, and how what that's like? I was trying to, my best one is saying, like, if South Carolina football was in, say, like, Conference USA football level, and then gets bumped back up to the SEC. Can you describe what it's like for Nottingham Forest fans to be back in the Premier League? Because, man, that was a wild team, and they win. The West Ham couldn't get one in the goal. That was wild. They kept knocking off the crossbar. But can you break that down for people to understand that level of passion and energy?
Well, so does that, you're saying that goes for even when they're relegated, or does it just ratchet up to another level? Because you remember when Newcastle was not a Premier League team, right? Was that when you were growing up? They were not in the Premier League.
He's head coach Tony Annan, men's soccer head coach. And a reminder, you can go and purchase season tickets for both Coach Annan and Coach Smith. You can go to Gamecocks online, $25 for adults, $10. That's for season tickets. Season tickets, $25. You can get some great seats. There was a phenomenal crowd out there on Saturday night for the exhibition game against Duke. Was absolutely a great crowd. A 1-1 draw there. They will take on Gardner Webb this coming Saturday night, 7 o'clock, free to the public. They will have beer sales as well, so you can go out there and get a little rowdy and pull for the young men on the pitch. Coach, what are you looking for now? Exhibition number 2, and then you're off. You're off to to Ohio for Ohio State and Dayton.
Same thing.
Yeah, basically the Midwest. Yeah. What are you looking for Saturday night from your group? What's the next step for this team before you start getting into the season?
Will you strategize a little bit differently, like not playing guys as much with a real game just 5 days away? And when do you leave? When do you guys actually hit the road? Okay.
Real quick, let's ask you a serious question. You had 2 injuries, Ben Alexander, and I apologize, I'm going to mess up your young man's name. Junior, is it June? St. Just okay. Availability for this weekend and kind of where, especially, and I don't know, we haven't talked as much about your team, but I know Ben Alexander was a young goalie that you're very excited about, that you believe can have an impact this year. Real quick, where are they in their recovery, and are you expecting them back for this weekend for the exhibition? There we go. All right, good. Now we've asked you the official. We've done all we can. I've asked you official questions. I've held your feet to the fire. We've gotten actual information out of you, Coach. I appreciate you. I know it's time to go start training this morning. We look forward to. I'll be catching up with you because I guess you'll be out of town next week. Yes, I won't get to talk to you. Oh no, then we will see you Tuesday. We'll need a Premier League breakdown. We'll need to know if you shook hands. We'll need to know if you shook hands properly this weekend. I'll be watching that very intensely to make sure you look. Are you a look in the eyes kind of guy when you shake hands? Is that a rule for coaches? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are with you. Yeah, you and your black outfit and just stare straight through the soul of the opposing coach. Good deal. Good deal. You always got that scowl on your face. You never look happy. I don't know if I've ever seen you smile. I'll make you smile. Yeah, there's a laugh from him. Coach, good luck this morning. We look forward to catching up. Huh? What? Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's why when you're not around. What? Yeah, you're right. When you're not around, I refer to you as Smiley. Old Smiley was on with us this morning from 6:45 to 7:15. So yeah, Coach, good luck this morning training. We look forward to catching up with you next Tuesday. Take care. Always. That's head coach Tony Annan. Reminder, go get some season tickets for soccer, man. That program, obviously, Shelly Smith has built the women's program up, but Coach Tony Annan is doing a phenomenal job. 7 o'clock, you don't need a ticket. 7 o'clock Saturday night at Stone Stadium. You can get out there for the exhibition match for the men's soccer team coming off a 1-1 draw against Duke last week. Always enjoy Coach Annan joining us, and Patrick, he does pull off the black shirt, black pants look very soundly there on the sideline. Very, very good looking.
He didn't even know that it was the slimming look. We learned that from Will Muschamp, but I've known that for years.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there you go. 803-404-6100. We got more guests. Swimming and diving coach Jeff Popple set to join us here in just a little while. We'll catch up with him and even ourselves. This is how big it is. We're at Williams-Brice Stadium this morning telling you no better time to purchase tickets than today. Catch a game this fall. Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion. Tickets to the home opener, $18.01. You heard that correctly, $18.01. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. You can go there. You can get soccer tickets. You can get football tickets. Or you can get football and football tickets, Patrick. You like what I did there? Football and
football.
Football and football. There you go. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Let's go.
I may or may not have a live read. I never know now. Am I saying that correct? Popple?
Popel. It's
Popel. Oh, okay. No, I can.
How are you?
I'm good.
Jeff,
Good
good
to
to
see
see
you.
you.
Nice
Nice
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you, Bill.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I can enunciate with the best of them and still screw it up. So don't worry.
No worries. All good. All good.
I still call him Josh Yellman.
Yeah, man.
Does that all look correct for you? Are you the one?
I didn't have a list, so I was just.
Oh, the list of guests. Yeah. Well,
You got a long day today.
I'm done at 9 a.m.
Oh, you're out here. Oh, you're in the chair. Got it. No worries.
I'm not a radiothon guy. I do my 3 hours. Yeah, actually I am. I have no clue because I guess it popped up from last year. Yeah. So, anything you want me to bring up or discuss or?
Well, I mean, I'm in the same position as Tony, in that we just started last summer when I arrived. So we're trying to program something with them from that standpoint. So in the SEC, which similar to all the other sports, it's the best swimming diving conference in the country. So it's just like any other time in the SEC.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, a boy that just competed at the European Championships this past week, Michael Ledorowski, who just fourth, actually just won a medal, but he had never been in that situation before. So that was pretty good. So he gets better, I think today actually or tomorrow. But no, I think we're moving in the right direction. Like I said, it's just trying to build it. So
Let me know if there's anything in particular that I need to bring up, or we'll pop you on. If you're okay, this is going to be a little bit shorter segment, so we'll do two segments.
Yeah.
Apparently, I stink with clocks. What my boss tells me. So because I start talking and like, well, it's a radio show.
Yeah,
We don't talk.
yeah. You're in trouble.
Kind of
I
going.
like that hat. Where'd you get that?
That's Tony.
Oh, Tony gets that. I
Yeah.
like it.
So my son he's gotten into soccer, and
Yeah.
it's been in my back seat. But I like talking to y'all more than I do. Like, and I've known Shane
Yeah.
because I used to do football for ESPN. So,
Oh,
like I like talking to y'all more than I do Lamont or Shane or even Mark Kingston because, no offense, but people want to talk about this. So if they start losing,
right.
all of a sudden now I've got to go. I don't know, Coach Papello. We might have to make a change.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
You lose a couple matches. Nobody's going to talk about
No,
it. So,
yeah,
like, when Coach
exactly.
Shane did, like, if they start losing, we
Yeah.
can still have our friendships. I don't have to go in and
Right.
I don't know. They lost their exhibition.
Right.
Dude, what do you want me like? Yeah, they
Exactly.
probably need to make a change. So,
Yeah.
we can do it can be far more positive.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas,
And sometimes
like Frank Martin was great to me. I went through a divorce
Loved
and,
him.
he was fun up. They weren't making the NCAA tournament. And I wasn't going on saying, oh, well, they got to fire the guy.
Right.
You have to be honest
Yeah, you do.
and say, like, okay,
Yeah.
What do we do here? How do
Yeah.
we? And as much as I love Frank, it was great to me. I know he didn't handle that well.
Right.
He was very rabbit-eared. And,
Yeah.
So I like having you guys on.
Yeah. We don't have to get.
And so
Yeah,
I
we
got-
don't have to go through any of that stuff.
Yeah. Like, with Lamont, like I said, my background is in basketball.
Oh,
I
okay.
played at Lexington and
Yeah.
we won a state championship. And then I was actually coaching a national AAU team.
Yeah.
Then I did recruiting for ESPN and traveled. Finally got out of that and just do radio
Yeah.
now. But
That's pretty cool.
so I feel like actually there I have some knowledge. And with Shane, when he was an assistant here under Spurrier, we got to be good friends.
Yeah.
Because I got sent to some like football camps, and so I talked to recruits and then talked to here's what this kid just said. So we got to be good friends from now. He's the head coach.
Right.
If you question something, say something. Well, wait a minute, you're not the coach. You're just the radio guy. Well,
That's right.
again, I have to talk on air. I don't talk.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very weird product I'm putting out.
No, it's true. Now, I got a question. Do you, through this at all, especially at the ESPN, do you ever get to know James Bates at all down in Gainesville? 'Cause I was the head women's coach of Florida.
Sanders slides over to the near sideline. Ace drops one, picks it up at the 30, 35. Ace with a move up the middle. Another at the 50. Open space for Ace. He can't get him at the 30. At the 20, got one man to beat. 10-5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Ace Sanders. Boom. Todd, no flags, folks. No flags. Ace Sanders just went the distance at Williams-Brice. The extra point could make it 21-0 Carolina. Oh, hurt me.
Final score, Gamecocks 35, Dogs 7. That's our old-timey clip of the day, sponsored by Old Timey Meat Market. With 3 locations, South Congaree and Panhandle Road in Irma. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by and shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Live the kickoff of the 2022 Gamecocks football season. South Carolina football on your home of the game.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Should I get this set up?
7:25 on a Thursday morning, broadcasting live from Williams-Brice Stadium. Let you know football season, American football season. We have to clarify that coming off of that interview with Coach Tony Annan. American football season just around the corner, and right now you can get tickets. There's no better time. $18.01 is all you'll pay for a single ticket, so you can get 2 or 3 or 4. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets for more details. Great opportunity. Make sure and check out all the group opportunities available for Gamecock football games as well. Again, visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets is where you can go. Big thank you to Tony Annan for joining us. We'll have guests throughout the day, and Patrick, we're about to learn a little bit more. We consider ourselves a show of the people, and swimming and diving, men's swimming and diving head coach Jeff Poppel, as I learned there during the break morning, because we are a show that likes to announce names properly.
Thank you.
We try to get all that proper, and head men's swimming and diving coach Jeff Poppel joining us. And you were telling me off air, very similar to Tony, your second season, and you're trying to build up the program here that is quite in quite a difficult league there in the SEC.
Yeah, so I came from the University of Florida last May, and I was a head women's coach there the previous 3 years, and then associate head coach for the combined program, men and women, before that. And so, coming from Florida, I haven't been in the SEC for a long time, swam at the University of Georgia back in the day. I mean, there's no better swimming and diving conference in the country than the SEC. And it's similar to, obviously, the other sports that we have here as well. And so I came into a situation, I left Florida, where we were at the top of the SEC. We were runner-up every year on the women's side. Our men were SEC champions every year, and accepted the challenge coming here and a dynamic. We're trying to build a program from the bottom of the SEC. So we're 1 year in. It's been a great first year, and kind of laying the foundation for where we want to go with the program, and really excited about with the recruiting. Gone really well. Got a lot of good interest from some of the top recruits in the U.S. But similar to Tony, obviously on the soccer end, we're also doing quite a bit of recruiting internationally as well. And I think that will help us, make the climb, that we're looking to make in the years to come.
So, Coach, what was it that drew you to South Carolina then? Because historically they've been at the bottom of the conference. What was it just the challenge? You just generally like that challenge, or was it the city of Columbia, or what? What was the dream?
You sound like the athletic director of Florida.
We do.
Is that what he said? What are you doing there?
Wait, you're leaving? What? We are known as the hard-hitting show of this station. We ask the difficult questions, so answer that one.
No, it was great. He was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I spoke to the University of South Carolina, today, and they want to talk to you about their head coaching opportunity. He's like, he goes, we're at the top of the SEC, and they're at the bottom. He goes, why do you want to go look there? And, again, at the time, I was the head women's coach at Florida, so I wasn't coaching both genders. And this opportunity here at South Carolina was the opportunity to coach a combined program, both men and women together. So it was definitely a different opportunity. I had not had the opportunity yet to coach a combined program. It had always been single gender. So that was one thing, that obviously drew me to the opportunity. And but I was still very open-minded. I'd been to Columbia once before, but it was like 15 years earlier. And I've been to the pool once. I really had not explored the city of Columbia at all. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go take a look and go talk to him, not really knowing where it was going to go. And at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, I thought I'd probably still end up staying at Florida. But it's a short drive. It's only 5 hours from Gainesville. So I drove up in the car. I came up a day early just so I could explore Columbia. And I walked the campus. I parked at the visitor center and just walked along the horseshoe and everything else. I was blown away. I mean, first of all, the campus is absolutely beautiful. I mean, Charleston's one of my favorite cities, and you saw so much of the similar, vibe and historical architecture and so forth, which I absolutely loved. It's a different feel than most other schools in the SEC for sure when you're on your campus, and I loved it. But the other thing is this. I mean, if you look at most of the schools in the SEC, they're all located in college towns, similar to Gainesville, and where the university is the center of the city, and outside of the university, there's just not a whole lot there. Columbia is completely different. I mean, you have a city, I mean, with it being the state capital, obviously, there's so much going on, so much more going on here than just the university itself. And I saw that when I came up, and I was like, this is really cool. So I felt like from a family standpoint, both my wife and I, my daughter actually just finished her freshman year here at South Carolina, and she's in a sorority getting ready to start her sophomore year. She's here. She wasn't supposed to come here, but she ended up visiting with my wife. After I accepted the position, absolutely loved it. We were fortunate enough to get her into school here. But like I said, when I left that day, I met, all day they were touring me around campus, meeting with the various administrators. I got in the car, I was heading back to Florida, and I got the call mid route, offering the position to me. And but I didn't have much time to make a decision, and I was impressed. I mean, I loved everything I saw here in Columbia, all the same resources and facilities we had at Florida, they have here in South Carolina. So I felt like everything that we needed to build a program was here. And the other thing was this. Florida's always had a phenomenal tradition of having one of the top swimming diving conferences or programs in the nation, but also even in the world, because we've had so many Olympians and world record holders and medalists and so forth. And I started thinking about it. I mean, even had I stayed at Florida, there was nothing I was ever going to do at Florida that hadn't been done before in its history, because it's had such a strong reputation. This is a different opportunity here. This is an opportunity to come in here. We've had great athletes in South Carolina in swimming and diving over the years, but from a team standpoint and team success, we haven't had a lot of that. So I really saw this opportunity as one in which you had an opportunity to come in and to do things as a team that have never been done here before, in the sport of swimming and diving. Obviously, so many other sports have been successful. So ultimately, that's kind of what won me over, is the opportunity to come in here and try to change a culture and build a program and to hopefully do things that have not been done here before to make a difference. So
Joined by men's and women's swimming and diving coach Jeff Poppel. I'm saying that
you were on it.
I don't know how much you listen to us in the morning, but if you listen to us, announcing names and pronunciation is, I get an F. I get an absolute F in that. We'll continue talking with you when we come back. We got a lot to get to. We are live from Williams-Brice Stadium this morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Brett. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, he gets to be at home this morning? Where is he at?
Polly, can't be barking while I'm over here. Come here. Come here.
Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, broadcasting live from Williams-Brice Stadium. You want to come out and join us? Well, you can't do it today. Don't come here. Don't come here today. They won't let you in. There's gates. You got to, but if you want to come to the season opener and you don't have tickets, Mr. Ed Bird, let's give away a pair of tickets to the season opener right now. 803-404-6100. A pair of season tickets. We'll take caller number 4. No real reason. I just figure 4 seems like a yeah, 4. Yeah, why not? Caller number 4, 803-404-6100. You can win a pair of tickets right now to the the season opener against Georgia State. We're joined right now by men's and women's swimming and diving coach Jeff Poppel. And you were kind of talking about. Now, let me ask, as I lose my voice, which is good on the radio. When you lose your voice, I don't know what the injury is in swimming and diving that you're most concerned about. Like, but
Not voice.
No, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's not. It's
Swallowing
radio.
too much water.
Yeah, that could happen.
Up. Yeah.
That could definitely happen.
How do you recruit? Like, what is? You mentioned it. Okay, America, and but international. What is recruiting like in your sport?
Probably a little easier maybe than some other sports from the standpoint is we got the clock. We got the time. I mean, obviously we're always racing against the clock as well as the competition, but it's real easy for us to look at, results from the national championships, the SEC championships, and to be able to say, okay, it took this time to win the SEC title, or it took this time, to make the finals and score points. So when we're recruiting, I mean, there's databases out there that show the times of every athlete, around the country or even in the world. So we can look at those times and say, hey, we can plug this time into our team, at the SEC championships and get a feel for what kind of impact this individual is going to make for our team. So, it's kind of cut and dry with the clock, with the times. So from a recruiting standpoint, as long as we have access to times of the individuals we're recruiting, it's really easy for us to determine what kind of an impact that recruit can make for our program.
In your sport, it's actually far more interesting because unlike, say, football or even baseball and even at the collegiate level basketball, Olympic sports, the dynamic of name, image, likeness has not always been there because football player, there's no Olympic sport. I don't know if you remember Jeremy Bloom, the skier from Colorado, who was a punt returner for the football team as well, but he was an Olympic skier, downhill skier. And so with your sport, the opening of name, image, likeness for your athletes to be able to still participate in the Olympics and say, because what it was is be on a Wheaties box. I mean, that's what it was. Has name, image, likeness impacted your sport so far?
It hasn't yet, but I think it may. It's funny when you're talking about the sport of swimming, and it's most popular every 4 years in the year of the Olympics. So it's one of the most widely viewed sports during the Olympic Games. So it's a situation where you look at a Michael Phelps, or when I was at the University of Florida, it's Caleb Dressel, is the best swimmer in the world.
Ryan
Lochte.
Yeah,
I was also a Gator. So those individuals are some of the top swimmers in the world, and they do, without a doubt, name, image, and likeness would benefit individuals at that stature, that level. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, when it comes like sponsorship opportunities, I mean, there's Olympic medalists out there, like silver medalists and bronze medalists, can't find any sponsorship deals. And they're medalists, but they're not like the elite medalists, in terms of a Lochte or a Dressel or Phelps or someone like that. So it is a little bit more difficult, I think, in the sport of swimming and diving, maybe some other non-revenue Olympic sports, to get for name, image, and likeness to make that type of an impact, where you see some of the deals that are going on, with football players and basketball, and some of the major revenue sports that are out there. But it doesn't mean that name, image, and likeness can't benefit our athletes. It's just going to be to a smaller scale.
Okay, I have a dumb question, and I would ask Chris Fry the same thing. You're the swimming and diving coach. Like, he's the track and field coach. Aren't those two different sports? Like, you are a swimmer. Do you know how to coach diving?
No, I do not. They are completely different sports, and you are hitting it
on the money. Yeah. Track and field, similar analogy to swimming and diving. So fortunate to have a great diving coach, Dale Schultz, and who came with us last year. And I leave the diving to him, but it's two completely different sports. The only thing that we share is that we both use a pool. You know what I mean? But obviously, what they have to do on their end and the diving well in the deep end, and what we do, obviously, in the competition courts are two very different sports. Yeah, but for NC2A purposes, we're all one.
Okay, so the dynamic, you mentioned Caleb Dressel, someone like this. This is the serious question. Is it,
Sure.
how is the dynamic with someone who has won medals, like gold medals in college, coming back? I mean, is it like celebrity status? I mean, I'm always also intrigued by the vibe of swim teams because you're all there sort of at the meets together and it's a very supportive environment. And like when you're not swimming, you're just cheering on your teammates and things like that. So that dynamic has always intrigued me.
It is. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, it kind of depends on the individual. I mean, I can definitely speak for Dressel. I can speak for Lochte as well because he was down there training, leading into Tokyo as well. And two of the best, obviously, in the world and ever in the sport of swimming. And very humble, very down to earth. They just wanted to be one of the team, just another team member. There wasn't a whole lot of arrogance or anything like that. They weren't putting themselves above anybody else. So that's kind of unique. It's kind of special from that standpoint because obviously there's enough individuals across every sport probably around the country that are of that level, and they'll let you know that. They weren't like that. And but in terms of like star status on campus, without a doubt. I mean, it was a bomb, but when Lochte had his little series or his little television series that he had, I mean, all those things are true. I mean, the life of Ryan Lochte when he was on the college campus at the University of Florida, he's Olympic gold medalist and one of the top swimmers in the world. I mean, he was a status symbol. I mean, he was a star. And I mean, I wasn't at Florida at that time, but I heard so many of the stories once I got there about what his life was like, as a college student athlete. Everybody knew who he was. And Dressel's no different. I mean, anywhere he goes, throughout Gainesville, I mean, obviously he's pretty easy to spot. So no, I think that's pretty spot on, as it relates to someone of that caliber and that level. And again, especially when you're talking about Olympics, because for the most part, everybody tunes into the Olympics every 4 years, and everybody does, for the most part, tune into the sport of swimming and diving during the Olympic Games. So if you're going to be an athlete on that stage at the highest level, most people can kind of connect who you are and what you've accomplished. Yeah.
Coach, we appreciate you stopping by this morning. Look forward to following your program. Be dead honest, we have no clue. Let's not. Trying to trick you into thinking. So tell us real quick, where are you? Are you heading in season?
Yeah.
Is it a spring? Okay.
So Monday. So our sport's a little different than most as well.
By the way, they give me a sheet. It doesn't tell you just
no.
Your name's right there. This is how I know what's happening. And it came in last night, by the way.
Our sport's different. I mean, we span both semesters of school. Like literally, we'll start training next week. With the off-season training next week. Our first competition's 5 weeks from now. But we don't end till the last week of March. So we literally, like a month before school gets out. So we literally span the entire year, both semesters. But yeah, first competition will be against Army the last weekend of September. So we're about 5 weeks out from that. And then, like I said, our SEC championships are in February. NC2A championships are March. And then we're about done with the school year at that point.
Good luck. We look forward to following you.
Thank
you. Certainly appreciate you stopping by this morning. Been fun and entertaining. And again, hopefully we haven't asked too hard of questions.
No, you guys are awesome. And I appreciate you having me.
Like I said, we are the hard-hitting program here on the station.
Someone's got to be.
Yeah, that's us. That's us. Mispronunciations and hard-hitting questions is what we're known for. So
you're good.
803-404-6100. We'll come back and we'll wrap up hour number 2. It's Patrick Pretz, Bill Gunn, and we're live from Williams-Brice Stadium. It's Thursday, August the 18th.
See you on the lake.
Lost. So that's what I was going to say is so Mark lost. And so they put, and like I said, it's right.
Bill's secret conversations.
Hello, Polly.
What?
Situation where I'm the only good golfer of the group, and we will be out on August 26th at Charwood Golf Club. And when we're out there, we want to let you know that we've got a special auction coming up this Friday at between 12 and 2. You can call 803-404-6100 tomorrow. You can call and place your bid to play with Ryan Brewer. That's right. Remember Ryan Brewer, number 21. He was also on our list, Patrick, of top 30 Gamecocks of the SEC era. The winning bidder will be paired with Ryan and placed in a foursome. Plus, will receive a pair of tickets to the USC home opener versus Georgia State. Starting bid starts at $150 and includes entry to the golf tournament. Proceeds will go to charity. So again, that is tomorrow, 12 to 2. You can be a part of the auction to play with Ryan Brewer at our golf tournament next Friday on at Charwood Golf Club out with Rock and Daniel Lucas. All right, Patrick, that was a mouthful there for me to get all that out. Tickets, Ryan Brewer. We've done some swimming and diving. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll be joined by women's softball coach Bev Smith. We'll get some softball information. We've got a lot covered this morning. You talk about something for a minute.
Do you think South Carolina is going to win because they're playing at 11 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
No, I actually did figure out the two game times that are most impactful of week one.
Okay.
I talked when you were gone about Utah pumping into heat, and they're practicing in their indoor facility because it's not hot enough to mimic Gainesville, Florida. But that game's at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. So that's a big deal. I was a little bit worried before looking at the game time about Utah coming to play in the Gainesville heat. And then the other one is UNC traveling to Boone, North Carolina for their first game. They're only a 2.5-point favorite. And if that game was at night, I would put a lock on it that App State was going to beat UNC.
Really?
Yeah, those are my two big ones. I actually still think App State might beat UNC. Chase Bryce is out for vengeance in year 9.
He is back for a long time. And I haven't not looked. The assumption was that Drake May would be named the starter at North Carolina. I have not looked, actually, just because it had dawned on me until just now, but to look and see if indeed Drake May has been named the starter. Do you know?
No, I think that's a full-on battle. I think it's a full-on battle. I don't know if anyone's gotten the edge right now. I talked about the SEC battles, and it sort of seems like we're getting clarity. Like we know who's got an edge in each battle at this point. But I've heard nothing about UNC. I've actually heard some people say that Jacoby Criswell might win that job. But ultimately, it probably will be Drake Mays as the season wears on if things aren't going well, just because he was more highly touted as a recruit.
803-404-6100. Again, a lot to get to. Kerry Tharp, who was supposed to join us this morning, as he does each and every Thursday, will be tomorrow morning. He had a charity event he needed to attend to today. So coming up here in about 5 minutes, Bev Smith, the women's softball coach, will be joining us. We'll talk a little softball with her, get an update as the season, well, the school year is getting going. So the season is just a couple months away. We'll catch up on that, and we will get back into some football discussion as well as give away more tickets. We got all kinds of tickets to give away. In hour number 3, we'll give away some Fireflies tickets. For tomorrow night, we'll give away some more football tickets. Patrick will talk some more. I don't know. What else do you want to do in hour 3?
I don't know. I think we just do all.
You got some NFL news you want to get to? I've lost complete control of this program.
No, you're doing good.
Okay. We're doing good?
Yeah. I was glad to find out that the swimming and diving coach doesn't know how to coach diving.
That was some wild stuff. We got a lot of good information out of that. That was pretty entertaining. We'll do hour number 3 up next. Head coach Bev Smith of the softball program joining us. It's the early game, 107.5 The Game. Well, we think we've Ed's having. I think Ed's having. Good morning. What's up, we started the program at 6:02, so I walked in at 6 a.m.
You walked in at what? 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And kicking off our number 3, it is the early game. Patrick Perrette and Bill Gunter getting settled in right now. As we got Bill adjusting himself on the live stream, ready to go down at Williams-Brice Stadium in the zone. $18.01 tickets to opening game. Anything else you want to plug, Bill?
Oh, good grief. We got so many things to play. What have we've done? We've done soccer this morning, some swimming and diving, and now we're joined by softball coach Bev Smith, who has been nice enough to swing by and hang out this morning. And you've had, as we were talking, you've had a busy summer. You've been in the transfer portal. You've been recruiting. I would imagine it's a little bit different than Coach Papel. We had her. By the way, thank you for having a much easier name to pronounce.
Smith is perfect for radio people, isn't it?
And if you've ever accidentally gotten up in the morning and flipped over to our station and had to listen to Patrick and I, you know that pronouncing names is very low on the list of things A, we try to accomplish, and B, that I'm any good at. So Bev Smith is a fantastic name. You win name of the year from our particular show.
Well, I can appreciate that. I'm all for nicknames in the locker room. So I'm not on the radio, but I like a good nickname in the locker room. So chances are I'll call you by your nickname for 4 years for sure.
Okay.
But thank you for having me on this morning. I'm happy to be here, have some coffee with you this morning, and talk softball.
If you'd have brought a donut, we'd have been. That's the only thing that could have made it better. Let's get a little update on you. We were talking off air, and it has been a busy summer for you. You mentioned you flipped your roster a good bit, and much like, we talk about football and basketball and all that, and the transfer portal has been a big deal. Shane Beamer has got a quarterback that has come from Oklahoma through the transfer portal. Wide receivers, you're using the transfer portal in a similar vein to kind of flip your roster.
That's right, and I tell you, it's here to stay. It's something that's relatively new, and I think it's our new reality as coaches. So fortunately for us, I'm really proud of our coaching staff and the effort they put into the recruiting this summer. And that we had the ability, what the transfer portal allows you is to go get players who have experience, who are seasoned. Really, you can find just about anything you're looking for in there. And, we've got some really nice pieces that are returning in our dugout. But I felt like we need to elevate in certain areas, and I think we've done that. We've added 2 pitchers on the roster, and I think we've added some thump at the plate, right? Our power numbers were down, and we think we've added some players that are going to give us the thump in the lineup that we need as well.
Coach, how does that work for softball? Like football, we know they've got all sorts of resources. They can have a grad assistant watching film and saying we should go get this kid. But for you, is it you have someone monitoring it and they say, hey, so-and-so just popped in to the portal, they hit X home runs, and then you go and watch some tape and decide if you want to offer them, or how is that process actually working?
Right. Well, a couple things. So Katie Repley is our recruiting coordinator. And I tell you, if there was a ranking system of the number of times coaches refresh the button on the transfer portal, I would think, we call her Coach Crash. Coach Crash would probably be in the top 10. Like, she was on it, monitoring, watching for the names that fell into the transfer portal. But you bring up a good point, because some of these players who enter the portal are in because they didn't play. So you've got players you're looking at that didn't have a lot of numbers. They were unhappy. Maybe they didn't play at their former institution. But there's a lot of technology out there now, and we use a company called Synergy Sports. We pay an annual subscription to, but we can pull up video and watch. If they had 15 at bats, we could watch all 15 of them. If they pitched 20 games, we can watch 1,500 pitches. So it's really a great tool to be able to go and check people out on Synergy. Then we would evaluate different players. We had our transfer board up, and we'd be evaluating their video, and of course we do our due diligence and make calls and talk to coaches, and because there's the athletic piece, and then there's the part, are they going to be a good fit for our program and our coaching styles and philosophy as well.
I don't think people understand. Obviously everybody understands how difficult the SEC is in football. It's a tough conference. It's more difficult in softball. Right. I mean, talk about the conference, the what you have to deal with on a week in, week out basis in this conference in softball, and the resources, not just that South Carolina puts into it, but the schools in this league are putting in to be successful.
Oh, and Oklahoma and Texas are coming too. They're
But
pretty
yeah,
good.
good coach. Just in case you didn't know.
Right?
Yeah, just in case you were unaware of that or had missed that news, Oklahoma and Texas are on the way also.
Yes. So there's no doubt that we're the strongest softball conference in the country, and I think it's because 1 to 13 is every single time you take the field, it isn't a super regional type field. I think if you're in the top 4 in our league, those schools are probably going to be in Oklahoma City. You're going to be in matchups against top 10 teams, top 20 teams every time you take the field. And certainly, I think it was 4 or 5 years in a row, all 13 teams qualified for the NCAA tournament. So top to bottom, it is tough. The PAC and the Big 12 all have excellent schools. They certainly have national championships. But top to bottom, it's not the same as playing in the SEC.
It's interesting you mentioned that conference realignment. And in all seriousness, how do y'all travel? Because again, going back, we know football gets their planes, basketball the same way. Softball, you hear about baseball. Like I've talked to Coach Kingston about this, about having to bus certain places. If you go to Mississippi or Mississippi State, I'm guessing is it a plane? Is it a bus?
We do both. We do both. We're certainly able to take a commercial flight to Mississippi because it falls within the parameters, but sometimes we opt to bus because time-wise, it's almost just as easy to get on a bus. It's tough to get to those places at times.
So how from your vantage point, do you see when you see stuff like Southern Cal and UCLA going to the Big Ten, and now you'll see a Southern Cal or UCLA having to make a cross-country trip? Like for you now, it'll be making trips to Missouri and to Arkansas, not to Arkansas, but Oklahoma and Texas A&M. For your college girls, for girls, they've got to do school too. Supposedly they're student athletes. That's what I'm told.
They do it very well, actually.
But I mean, how, as a coach, when you see conference realignment like that, and you see the travel, how do you take it in as a coach?
For me, zooming out big picture, I wonder often how we can sustain this, right? I think about UCLA flying to Rutgers for a weekend series, right? I think about Rutgers. I mean, I think about UCLA and their big parkas flying out to Rutgers, right? Like, that's tough. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it probably makes a lot of sense in eyeballs and media for football, but I don't know if it makes sense for all the sports. And my question is, how do you sustain it? I have no idea. No one's asked me on that, but I think for our league, certainly with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, I mean, you talk about a softball powerhouse. Wow. I mean, it's going to be amazing. But I think to travel to Oklahoma or travel to Texas, we're already doing those things with Missouri being in the league and Arkansas and Texas A&M.
Well, I guess, do you see a day where, I mean, like you just said, Missouri, Texas, I guess Oklahoma, Texas A&M, that's going to be probably your four longest trips, where your girls are doing basically virtual learning, and maybe you have you go on what's the equivalent of a professional road trip, where maybe instead of having to save cost, instead of having to go to Missouri, come back home 2 weeks later, go to Oklahoma, come back home, then say 2 weeks, or Lord forbid, back-to-back weekends of going to Texas, then going to Missouri. Do you foresee a situation where it becomes like a professional sport in terms of you have a road trip and the girls are just taking their computers and their lab, whatever it is, however kids are learning these days? Do you see that coming?
I hope not. Honestly, I think I wouldn't want our student athletes to miss out on the experience of being on campus and being in classrooms with the professors. They already are a lot taking some online classes, and specifically for us in the spring, we do take online classes and they're able to travel, and that part does make it easier. But I'll tell you one thing, just from the softball specific side, is we don't play everybody in the league every year. So we play 8 conference weekends, 3-game series. So we play 24 games. So currently we have 4 no plays every year. So there's 4 people that fall off our schedule. And I think it'll probably be pretty similar when we do Texas and Oklahoma. So we won't play everybody in the league, but we'll meet up in the conference tournament, which I think our conference tournament has been really exciting because of the coverage we get from the SEC Network and ESPN, and the matchups that you could see in the tournament that teams that maybe didn't face each other in the regular season can be really exciting.
Coach, I see that as far as this year's team, you got a new hitting coach. Can you tell us how that's going? Tell us about Coach Bloomer, right?
Yes. Kayla Jackson. Kayla Jackson was our former hitting coach. She was a Gamecock alum. She is pregnant and decided to step down. So Josh Bloomer was at Duke University before getting here, and they finished 12th in the country and were at super regionals. To be honest, I didn't know Josh prior to hiring him, but I absolutely saw what was going on at Duke since his arrival, and Duke just elevated every year and at the plate specifically. So I did some homework and reached out, and he had some interest in coming, and I think it was really what we're talking about, the competitiveness of the league, the SEC, and he's moved here with his family and really just getting to know the players. But I'm excited about the success and really what he's going to bring to our program offensively.
Do you have a philosophy on what you want your style to be with that, or do you turn it over to him and say whatever it is, whether it's long ball, whether it's more singles and doubles? Do you have a philosophy you'd like him to adhere to, or do you say, okay, what you believe in is what we're going to go with?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I certainly went out and recruited him based on his success. We talked a lot about hitting philosophy in the interview process, but I think as a coach, sometimes you've got to adjust your philosophy for what's in the locker room. And then listening to Josh, he's been able to do that. He's done a lot of homework, watched a lot of video on our team, and he wants to lead the country in doubles this year, right? We're not going to be a big home run hitting team right now, but for us, we're going to be talking about leading the country in doubles, right? Being a great base running team, taking advantage of scoring opportunities.
Has he been able to work with the hitters yet, Coach? What's the schedule like right now?
Yeah, we have not started yet. We had our first team meeting last night. Today's the first day of school, and we'll get rolling next week with individual workouts.
With that in mind, how long does it take, do you feel, because Mark Kingston went through this last year bringing in a new hitting coach. Is it like changing an offense in football where there's new terminology, where there's a new playbook essentially? Maybe when you talk about changing an approach at the plate, and I know you said you match it to who's in your locker room, but how long do you think is fair for that to take place? Is it fair to say, okay, next year we should be a totally different approach style, and the girls should accept that and be good at it? Or does it take a year or two to change their mentality to that approach?
No, I don't think that part will take long. I think our team, definitely our players have a growth mindset. I think they're anxious about new information. We were really clear about common language, language that we've already been using. I think Coach Bloomer's on board with that, kind of to decrease the learning curve for our players. So I think that part's been really important.
Yeah, how we do here live. Yeah, I'm pointing at him to see that. That's the beauty of the live stream. I can point at him. We can kind of communicate with him.
I figured we wanted to end with the goal.
It's kind of like, hey, all right, what do we got over here? Do you want to ask a question? Is it me?
Well, I thought we were gonna end with a golf tournament, but I didn't know if you had another technical question first.
Well, I did just want to. I do want to get into the team a little bit. You mentioned there's a lot of transfers. Give us a few young ladies that you're excited about, or I shouldn't say you're excited about all of them, but that need to step up, that have got to have a good off season for you here, got to have a good fall, that you want to see really improve to lead this team in the spring.
Well, I tell you, Jordan Fabian for us as a senior from Hanahan High School in South Carolina. She had an excellent season for us last year, and I think she'll need to continue to do that and lead our team. She really anchored the defense at first base for us, and is somebody we'll want to continue to see grow. We added a transfer from University of Georgia, Anaya Black, who I mentioned is going to add some real pop to the lineup. She had double-digit doubles and home runs last year at Georgia, so I think for her offensive prowess, we'll want in the lineup. We lost Katie Preble last year, who was our home run leader, so that will be a nice add. And then I think we picked up a catcher from University of Washington named Jen Cummings, and I'm very excited about her lefty stick and ability to lead behind the plate, adding that experience that we need there for a young pitching staff. Leah Powell led us in pitching, and we added 2 transfer pitchers. Donnie Goburn, who's a graduate from Florida Atlantic. I'll have to say I'm very excited about her. Throws the ball hard, really hard. I'm excited about. Yes, I'm gonna go with that. So I'm excited about the power that she's going to bring to the circle, and then we added another a freshman arm too. I think that has a big upside.
Before I let you go, I gotta ask. I know you want to win a national championship. That is the ultimate goal. Harder to win SEC tournament because of what we talked about with the league, or the national championship. What do you think is harder?
That's a great question. And that's a great question. SEC championship is tough because it's the 24 game grind for sure. And if you're winning the SEC championship, I
You've
would
done something pretty good.
You
If
would
you
be
win it,
expecting to play in Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I was going to
There's
say
no doubt.
you're a national title guy. That's what I'm asking, because I almost feel like it's easier if you can just get yourself into the NCAA tournament. It actually is easier than winning an SEC tournament or an SEC I mean, what was it? Was it? Correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick. Was it 6 out of the 8 in the College World Series this year that was SEC teams?
SEC,
Am I
yeah,
thinking?
yeah, it was.
Yeah. And was that counting Texas and Oklahoma? I know we talked about this a little bit.
I think we were counting Texas and Oklahoma in that. Yes.
Yeah, just a couple. Yes. For example, Florida finished in the middle of our league this year,
right?
And we're in Oklahoma City, so there's a lot of luck involved in the postseason too. Like, you got to be playing well, team kicking on all cylinders. There's so much parity in the sport now. University of Georgia 2 years ago finished 10th in the league, and they were playing in Oklahoma City. So I mean, it's just a grind. It's hard to explain. And you could win the SEC tournament and get beat in supers. I mean, it's just it's a grind, but it is why we do it. It's exciting to play the best. You want that national championship. You want to compete against the best and play the best.
A little bit more stressful, a little bit more difficult than the job Patrick and I do every morning. We just cut up about coffee and donuts, and we analyze what you do, which we have as you can tell.
Nothing like having 29 college-age girls either. You're just talking softball. Add that into the mix.
I'm about to have one 13-year-old daughter. 29 of them would be a disaster and a nightmare. Coach, we appreciate you stopping by this morning. Look forward to following. We definitely look forward to speaking with you in the spring as you get closer to the start of the season.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys.
Head Coach Bev Smith of the softball team joining us this morning. We'll come back. We will continue on. We are live from Williams-Brice Stadium again. Season tickets for the University of South Carolina. You can also take advantage of the back-to-school promotion going on. $18.01 to the home opener. We will give you a chance to win a pair of tickets for both the home opener and the Columbia Fireflies when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Okay, thank you.
Ed, do I have Prisma? I know you do, buddy. I know. Cool. I gotta catch my breath. I should have run outside to take Polly. I'm crying the whole segment. Ed, do I have Prisma here? Do I have Prisma here? 810, right? Okay. Okay. $8:23 on a Thursday morning. Patrick Perrett and Bill Gunter with you live from Williams-Brice Stadium. Got to tell you about our friends at Prisma Health Orthopedics. Football season almost underway, and Prisma Health is the official team physicians for the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers, so they will give you and your family the same care provided to the top athletes in the state. They are also the most comprehensive orthopedic group in the region. They've got 65 specialists across 6 locations to serve you wherever you may be. So if hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, you need to seek the best care. Find out if joint pain is affecting your quality of life by taking a free health assessment. Don't let that hip or knee pain hold you back. Prisma is the region's most trusted orthopedic practice. They have a deep-rooted history spanning nearly a century, and they're leaders in innovative procedures and teaching the next generation of orthopedic physicians. They offer a full-service walk-in orthopedic urgent care clinic for all sports injuries, strains, sprains, fractures, as well as chronic joint pain, so they know how to solve your hip and knee difficulties. Again, get out there. You can take a free health assessment from Prisma Health, who has built a foundation for patient-centered care and innovation that results in the best possible services for their patients. And you can learn more by visiting them in person or finding them on the web at prismahealth.org/orthopedics. All right, Bill, your turn. I'm out of breath. I had to run outside to take the dog out.
It's been an interesting morning, that's for sure. Big appreciate Tony Annan for joining us. Appreciate Coach Jeff Koppel for joining us, the swimming and diving coach, and Bev Smith there in the previous segment. Again, we were at Williams-Brice Stadium this morning. Right now, let's give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Columbia Fireflies. We will take caller, let's go 3 again. 3 outs in baseball. Caller number 3, 803-404-6100. Ed Bird back in studio doing some producing. Jen will be back on Monday. No, Jen may be back Tuesday. I don't know. Jen will be back at some point. But Ed Bird is back there, so you can call and he will get your information. 803-404-6100. A family 4-pack of tickets to tomorrow night's game over at Segra Park for the Fireflies, giving away a family 4-pack of tickets now to the Columbia Fireflies. We'll take caller number 3, 803-404-6100. Tonight, Patrick, 6 to 7 o'clock. No exact set time. I think things are kind of fluid there. Xavier McLeod is going to make an announcement. A lot of people believe it is between South Carolina and Georgia. And we've talked about this. Now, today is August 18th. 11 days from now as well, I heard you say his name on Tuesday. Boy, did you do a good job. Desmond, give me the last name.
I'm going Ameozulu.
Ameozulu, sure. We'll call him that. Des U is what I've seen on most of the social media and everything. A 6'6", 250-pound defensive end will make an announcement. And there is a lot of people on the internet, on bigspur.com and on Gamecock Central, who are starting to believe South Carolina may indeed be the leader for him as well, Patrick. And we talked about this earlier. You know, you build from you have to build up, especially in the SEC, you have to build up on the defensive line. And South Carolina right now, Montique Rames, if they can land Xavier McLeod, Desmond, how we say that name again?
Ameozulu.
This would be a really good defensive line class for the Gamecocks to build on in year 2 under Shane Beamer.
And it's just pure size as well. I mean, Xavier McLeod's massive. I mean, he's listed at 325 on his profile. He looks every bit of it on tape. I've only watched 1 minute of it. That's all I saw of his highlight film. But, man, is he big and is he strong. And I would love the idea that you're getting most of your blue chippers from the state of South Carolina, which you need to dominate, and then the DMV, which I think is that next best region for South Carolina to kind of go in there and be one of the top games in town. It's going to be so difficult for you to go to the state of Georgia and pull out blue chippers that Georgia wants. That's just asking a lot. Even North Carolina, the University of North Carolina has done a really good job keeping those kids in North Carolina. NC State's a really good program right now. So yeah, you're gonna win some battles here and there, but I think South Carolina, have always thought South Carolina has a really good chance, even though it's 8 hours away, to go up into the state of Virginia, to go up into the DMV and say, look, we're the closest SEC school in town. Like, we are the closest. There's tons of Maryland kids, Virginia kids at the University of South Carolina. There's tons of high-level prospects that just don't want to go to Maryland. They want to play in the SEC. And to go in and win a battle for Desmond Umeozulu right after winning a battle for Xavier McLeod would be absolutely massive. And especially when you've got on the offensive side of the ball, you've already got Marquis Anderson, and then you've gone and won a battle for Tree Babalade. That would be, those two little pairings would be big time for Shane Bieber.
No, again, building on the offensive and the defensive lineman, and you just mentioned Big Tree Babalade, Marquis Anderson again is another guy you just mentioned. If South Carolina were to land Xavier McLeod today, he would be their second. He would be the Gamecocks' second highest recruit, behind only Marquis Anderson. Patrick, another part of this is you just mentioned landing kids in state, and certainly Stephon Gilmore, Devontae Holloman, that Clowney guy, Marcus Lattimore, you go on and on. Even go back to Cliff Matthews. South Carolina keeping the elite players in the state of South Carolina home. Monroe Freeling is the top player, offensive lineman out of Oceanside, Christian Down, and Myrtle Beach. He's not really an in-state kid. He moved here and doesn't really have ties, so he's not considering South Carolina or Clemson. But landing the number 2, 3, and 4 player in the class, Patrick, in Anderson, McLeod, and Rames, that's a really good step in recruiting.
Yeah, that's what I feel like all good schools do. The first thing they do is lock down that area. And for some schools, LSU can afford to miss on a couple. They can afford to miss on an Arch Manning. Georgia can afford to miss on a Georgia kid here and there. South Carolina cannot. I mean, when there's big-time players in the state, you have to go in there and land them. And if they can go 2, 3, and 4, and I agree, Freeling is not – he's such a weird case. He's not considering either of the South Carolina schools. It looks like Notre Dame and some of those other offensive line powerhouses. So you can just kind of write him off and just not worry about that because it's such a unique case. But locking up essentially the top 3 players that were born and raised in South Carolina would be massive.
803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. If you want to join in, we'll come back. A little bit of NBA news, a massive contract to LeBron James. We'll discuss that for a second. Get a little bit of NFL news. Bears and Seahawks. Oh, boy, get fired up tonight. Nothing like a good Bears-Seahawks game on a Thursday night to get you fired up for football. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Brett live from Williams-Brice Stadium. No better time than today to get your tickets and catch a game this fall. Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion where tickets to the home opener are $18.01. Again, $18.01. Visit GamecocksOnline.com/tickets. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Because I'm having to use my phone.
All right, hop on in there. Your face is all in the live stream right now.
Welcome.
This is the view that people want.
Huh?
This is the view that people wanted.
Oh.
He was here like last week. Huh? So he just moved to Nashville. So what was he doing here a couple weeks ago?
He did come in that one Friday.
I thought he was moving, and then I saw him. Who have you had this morning, though? got to come up with some tennis and volleyball questions.
Maybe it was like,
Yeah.
when does your sport start?
When did your
I mean, literally, I was sitting back and look. He was great. I mean, he really was, man.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal, honestly. Stuff, people like that, like, they can just walk. All right, we're coming up.
Yeah.
Because we joked, I was like, look, man, I said this one. I'm like, we don't know.
What are they doing up there? What's all this scat?
It's for the LED lights.
Six, 9, and 12.
Griffin, how do I find a saved Wi-Fi password on Bill's computer?
Yeah, stop messing with my stuff, man.
I'm having to use like my hotspot on my phone.
I thought Steven said you had to.
No, it didn't.
You sure you put it in correctly?
No.
Not only that's what I said, that's probably what she said.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Giving away another 4.
another good pair of tickets. All right. 803-404-6100. That is the phone number you can use right now to contact Ed Bird back in the studio and win yourself a pair of tickets to the home opener for South Carolina. The Gamecocks in Georgia State. Sean Elliott will bring his Fighting Panthers. I don't think they're the Fighting Panthers. They're just Panthers. Into Williams-Brice for a night game where you get to check out the new LED lights that, as I look around, they are still putting up here. The sun has risen over Williams-Brice Stadium. So right now, caller, do what? Say that again, Ed? 3. Let's take 3. 3 just is the magic number this morning. We do 3 hours of radio. There's 3 points when you kick a field goal. I'm sure there's other things related.
I don't know. You did 4 earlier.
What did we do 4 for? Yeah, I can't.
You didn't say, but you did have the swimming coach on, and it's 4 legs and a relay.
There you go. Good job. Very good. How about that? So, yeah, caller number 3, pair of tickets to the South Carolina Georgia State opener. You can't really get a good view of it behind me, Patrick, but they are doing some work on the stadium. They're putting up the LED lights. They've got the new ribbon board that is on both sidelines there, both the upper deck. I don't know how to describe it, but the new ribbon board. They have done some painting down in the student section. So, like, I'm sitting in the zone here, and I'm looking down, and below the big scoreboard, it says the cockpit, little garnet and black painting down there. And then they've also put up some new banners that say 2010 SEC Eastern Division champions. And it also points out the 1969 ACC champions. Those banners used to be right here below me on the kind of the little wall right below the zone. Patrick Stadium looks good. I don't LED lights does not win you games that day, but it can win you recruits. And getting that night game, we were talking about game times, right?
Yep.
I think getting a night game to start. I think South Carolina's first 3 games, which we know the times already. I actually think it couldn't set up any better for South Carolina to get the night game to showcase the stadium, to showcase the atmosphere for recruits. Hopefully you win the game. You beat Georgia State. The early kick in Fayetteville, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Central. And I actually think playing Georgia at noon, even though it contradicts what I just said, I actually think playing Georgia at home at noon is a good thing as well.
Okay, it was noon when we beat them in Athens, right?
It was.
Okay, because I was clearly misremembering the first one in 2018. That was a 3:30 game. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they'll still be asleep at noon, so you have a better chance. Also, just I'm always torn on the night games for the big games like that, like a Georgia, because by 6 o'clock you'll be tailgating and you'll have had a couple drinks and you'll be convincing yourself that we're going to go out there and beat them, and then it's 14-0 in the first 5 minutes and you're just sad. But I mean, I'm cool with it. Get a bunch of recruits out. I don't know if they've put a list out or anyone's announced that they're going to be official visiting for that first game, but I'm sure it's going to be electric. I don't know if it's going to be a sellout, but it's going to be a very good environment. People are really excited, and I think most fans are probably sleeping on Georgia State, but there's also that element of Sean Elliott coming back, which might draw a couple fans there who obviously appreciate and remember him from his time here, and it's just overall going to be electric. So breaking out the LED lights, they don't work in the daytime, right? Do they even try?
I mean, they work.
I mean, like, you can kind of see them. I mean, you can see stoplights during the daytime. Like, they're bright. I think they do something, but they don't black out the stadium like they do at nighttime.
Yeah, it won't have the same. It won't have the same effect. And listen, I'm with you. You know, I think game times, I really do believe game times can be very instrumental in wins. And, you know, South Carolina did win 2 games last year at night, Florida and Auburn, that were obviously huge games. Then they also got shut out by Clemson 30-0 in a night game. The Georgia game, I'm with you. The fact that it's going to be such a big game, and I've talked to coaches about this in the past, to get up and just go play for South Carolina, who's going to be, what do you think? 2 touchdown underdog? I mean, that's a minimum. Maybe 7. I mean,
16.5
is what you're going to go with. Yeah.
I'm going to go with.
So, you know, with that in mind, I think the mentality of let's get up and go play, as opposed to let's sit around all day and think about what could be for the players, not fans, but players. I think that actually is a better thing for South Carolina. Kind of the win in Athens in 2019, I think it was a byproduct of Georgia that day sleepwalking on South Carolina. Well, I don't think it was a byproduct of Georgia sleepwalking on South Carolina in the game, getting a few plays, and Jake Fromm forgetting what team to throw the football to. But the bottom line is on this one here, I think it's a good thing. I'm actually a fan of getting that, as opposed to, again, the over tailgated, having sat around all day, discussed what could be atmosphere that would be for a night game for the Gamecocks against the Bulldogs.
What about A&M? What about a game like that? Because that's one that you feel like A&M is also in a trap spot. I've seen a couple people pick South Carolina to beat A&M this year because we play them right after Alabama, right? Or right before Alabama?
South Carolina plays A&M on the 15th. I believe that's right. No, the 22nd.
They play them. They play them the week after Alabama, or the bye week, and then South Carolina.
All right. So with that in mind, yeah, actually they play them on the 22nd. South Carolina has the bye week on the 15th, and then A&M. And to me, getting the bye week is just as important as whatever time the game is. You know, I don't know. I brought this up I was doing a show in Arkansas yesterday, and one of the fascinating things about that Arkansas game is not the opponent, Patrick. It's how South Carolina plays on the road, right? Because they were awful, and that might be being nice. They were brutal on the road last year. You got to kick a field goal to beat East Carolina. I don't know what the combined, just quick math. I'd have to go back and look. The combined scores of the Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas A&M road games.
I actually do have that number. It was horrific. Also, they almost did lose to Vanderbilt at home, though.
Right, but more so with the road games, right? Like the road games, you want to see South Carolina. That's one part about the Arkansas road game. You want to see South Carolina play well on the road, because so far that's one thing in the Shane Beamer era. The Gamecocks, I know they beat East Carolina, but they didn't play good. They weren't. I mean, they won the game. Testament to believing in themselves and making enough plays down the stretch. But that's the one thing about that Arkansas game you look at and you go, man, I want to see them actually play a competent game on the road.
That's why I've been trying to scream, like, let's not just attach a number to our success. I've been trying to scream it, but it's still early in the morning and people don't like to hear that. You're talking about a 7-win team that barely beat Vanderbilt, that barely beat East Carolina. Not all 7-win seasons are created equal. There is a situation where South Carolina can go to Fayetteville. They can go to Lexington, Kentucky, lose close games, but play really tough. They can play Georgia tough. Maybe they only win 7 games, but it's a better looking 7-game season than last year's was. Like that's what I've been trying to harp on, because your schedule is really tough this year. Who knows what Florida's going to be, but you beat them last year. You can't just guarantee that they'll be just as bad as last year. Tennessee spanked you last year. Maybe you play a better game with them, but still lose. Like, there's a lot of possibilities for that.
803-404-6100, how you can join us. Again, we're talking a little bit about the scheduling. Also talked about Xavier McLeod and where he may or may not make his decision this afternoon. Georgia, South Carolina considered to be the top 2 teams. South Carolina right now the favorite to land him. That's kind of the perception, is that South Carolina could be the destination. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Ray has waited patiently. Ray, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind? Thank you for the phone call, Ray. Yeah, Patrick, we've talked about it. This has the chance. South Carolina's offense has been really – they got going during the end of 2018. Patrick, you were out in Oxford. South Carolina played an early game there against Mississippi and scored 48 points in that game, rallied late, scored 2 touchdowns. Against Florida, I think the following week they had 31 at the end of 3 quarters, put up obviously points and yards, but not a victory against Clemson. And then somewhere along halftime of the Akron game, South Carolina's offense went into the tank. And quite frankly, Patrick, you go back and if you want to pinpoint a moment, 2018, South Carolina's playing Akron in that weird game, in December. South Carolina's offense is really, quite frankly, with the exception of a moment here or there, they quite frankly stunk the last, 2019, 2020, 2021. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Yeah, there's been a great moment here or there, but by and large, the offense the last 3 years has been brutal, and they should be a lot better this year.
They have to be. I mean,
I think
I guess. They have to be. They have to be. It can't get much worse. I mean, you didn't lose hardly anything from last year offensively. You're way more talented. Everyone should be more comfortable. This team needs to be in the 30s most games. Like, okay, I'll excuse it for Georgia, maybe A&M, but you got to be hitting 30 most games. You cannot be squeaking out a 21-17 win over Missouri. Like, you need to light up teams like that. There are some good defenses on the schedule, but it's not like the SEC. You can't just automatically say it's SEC. Everybody's got a great defense. No, there are some of these defenses that can be had. Tennessee's defense can be had. If you lose that game but get into the high 30s or 40s, okay, so be it. But you can score a boatload of points on Missouri, and you better score a boatload of points on Georgia State in week 1.
803-404-6100, you can weigh in. I disagree wholeheartedly with DJ on this. I agree with what he says about Carolina has won and lost in different daytimes. But DJ texted in this morning, game time does not matter. Carolina has won and lost to Georgia in daytime and night, beaten and lost to Arkansas in daytime and night, lost to A&M in both day and night games. Doesn't matter at all. DJ, I totally disagree with that. I think game times matter to an extent. And I'll just give you an example. You'll never, there's no way to ever prove this, obviously. You'll never convince me that if South Carolina had played Georgia in 2019, Brian Helinski got the start, the Carolina Joyner finished off the game. If that game had been played at night, you'll never convince me that South Carolina would have won that game. Georgia slept walk through that game. Crowd was a little down. I just that's what I believe. I do think game times can matter in certain situations. Not all the time. Not all the time. But and I think it's down the list of things that matter. Just like look, at the end of the day, yesterday, us talking about Mark Stoops, South Carolina, while that's a fun topic for sports talk radio, it has zero bearing on the game. Shane Beamer's not going to tell the guys in the locker room, hey, Mark Stoops made fun of my sunglasses. Will y'all tackle the quarterback a few more times today? Will you score a few more touchdowns because he made fun of my sunglasses? I do think game times, though, can have a little bit of an impact on the game. 803-404-6100. I'll bring up another one on that game time thing and see if Patrick agrees with me. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Ed, you want me to do it in the segment?
I'm fighting. Just like to point out that the sales guy can have a deal with Dunkin' Donuts where the promotions guy picks up the donuts. You know what? Judd.
Too soon. Too soon. I would just say, are you going to make this in a
Did you sell it? I'm sorry, did you get commission for what you sold? No. Did you get commission for what you sold? So you got paid also for that. Yeah.
Take your time. 8 minutes left, 10 minutes left to be here, and I'm going back to bed. I'll warm up. I like before Steve was. I don't know who our promotions person was when I very first started. So, yeah, you might be right. I do vaguely remember. But we had T-shirts. And they actually were. It had this. It was just like this, a T-shirt, but it's actually garnet black, and it just had the simple logo on the back. It wasn't those ugly white T-shirts that they got like last year. I don't remember. I don't know if it was a Jeff deal.
I hope we trade it. I've actually never gotten anything myself, but I have a few more.
Bill.
I actually might do that. Like,
Bill.
Odds are I won't. You're right.
I got to bring it back. I got to bring it back.
Okay.
And we're wrapping up the Thursday edition of the early game here. Patrick Perrett and Bill Gunter with you. I need to tell you about our friends at Canty Foundation Specialists. They are the best in the business. If you have any foundation problems or crawl space issues, foundation problems could be cracks in your windows or door frames, in your garage door, above your exterior brick. Any of those can be foundation problems, just like uneven or bouncy floors or doors or windows that stick, and also crawl space repair. 803-404 That's the number to the left side phone lines. 803-424-8380 is the number for Canty Foundation Specialists. If you have an open crawl space and recently experienced a storm, you may have standing water under your home. That can create high humidity and condensation in the crawl space. In an environment for mold, mildew, and pests, including termites, the moisture can lead to wood rot and floor joist problems and create musty smells or awful odors from mold and mildew that can cause health issues like runny nose, itchy eyes, or coughs. 50% of the air you breathe comes from your crawl space, so you need to make sure it's taken care of, and you need to call Canty Foundation Specialists, 803-424-8380. You can find them in Columbia, Greenville, Augusta, Charlotte, and Charleston, and they can also do concrete repair, concrete leveling, basement waterproofing, anything involving the foundation of your home, 803-424-8380, or visit them on the web at cantycanfixit.com. We're talking game times, and Bill's a staunch believer that the game time is important. Mentioned that there's no way South Carolina beats Georgia in 2019 if that was a night game. And you got another example, Bill?
Do you think Texas A&M? Remember what Texas A&M was when Alabama rolled in. We have a false sense of this. Texas A&M was down to Zach Calzada, backup quarterback. Haynes King was supposed to be the starter for Texas A&M last year. If you remember this, if everybody remembers this correctly, Texas A&M had lost to Mississippi State, I believe, the week prior. Texas A&M might have been coming off a bye week, but they had the game prior to Alabama. Texas A&M had lost to Mississippi State. That was a program that was struggling last year, but it's a night game. It's at Kyle Field. You get that night game atmosphere. It's crazy. It's wild. Patrick, if that game is not a night game, a matter of fact, to be honest, A&M had lost back-to-back games. They had lost to lost to Arkansas and Mississippi State, 20-10 and 26-22, and then beat Alabama. If that's not a night game, do you think Texas A&M knocks off Alabama in that environment?
Maybe not. But there's so many other examples too. Like, I mean, South Carolina's lost to Kentucky 7 of the last 8 times, and I think all of them have been at night pretty much.
What about gets fired up for night games? Those blue helmets look good in the night.
What about Oregon going to Columbus and beating Ohio State at 9 a.m. last year?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example of, I don't know. Jake hits us up on our text line. It really is. DJ brings up a great question. I think DJ brings up a great question on our text line about whether the time played is a legitimate factor in game. And I don't just mean because of, we're playing at noon, so it's going to be 3 million degrees, right behind me. Georgia's used to the heat too, even the Columbia heat. But Jake hits us up and he says, I played 4 years of college ball, finished up my career in the 2017 season. Most of my games were at 11 a.m. And let me tell you, there's a difference for a 21-year-old getting up at 6 a.m. for meetings and game prep and being able to sleep until 8 or 9. Jake says game time matters. DJ, thank you for your text earlier. Because Patrick, as we wrap up this program, we might get into this a little bit more tomorrow. It is really kind of, to me, to hear people's opinion. Bob, by the way, weighs in and says, guys, I don't know anyone who likes a noon game. Bob, you ought to meet media members. There's a lot of media members. Not me. I don't cover games from the press box, so I'm kind of with Bob on this. I prefer the tailgating and the night games, although we are hitting an age now where I like getting home early. But media members like to be done early so they can go and watch football and not have to cover a game all day. But I am with you. I think we didn't say anybody likes a noon game. But, Patrick, I think it's an interesting question as to, how much a game time matter. I've seen South Carolina go to Baton Rouge for a night game and a day game, and both of them have turned out to be losses. I've seen South Carolina win in '94 in a night game in Baton Rouge. How much does game time matter, do you think?
I mean, South Carolina's what are their two biggest? Like the two biggest that they were highest ranked teams was Georgia and Alabama, right? 10 and 19, both day games. Was there another one that I'm missing that was another top 3 or 2 ranked team?
Oh, you're talking about South Carolina's victories here at home?
Yeah, or in Georgia. They beat Georgia in Athens at noon. They beat Alabama at home at 3:30. And so both daytime games, though.
Both daytime games, yeah. I don't know. We'll talk more about this. It's actually really – I appreciate DJ sending that in because now it's sparked a lot of thoughts in my mind as to how much time matters. Big thank you to all of the Gamecock Athletic Program for having us out this morning. Pearson Fowler's in front of me. Josh Yeoman's to my left. Josh has done nothing. Pearson's going to take over for us next. Patrick, have a good day. All right. Had to make fun of. Look at our esteemed sales team over here doing. Yeah, look at Josh. Yeah. And there's Pearson Fowler. Good job. All right.
All right, everybody. See you tomorrow.